Hi, my name is Kathryn Plotkin, and I am a registered nurse taking the Early Childhood Education 201 class. This presentation will be on social development. The objectives of this presentation are to discuss peer relations, play, and friendships, and explore peer relations in adolescence, and then discuss how schools impact that and achievement. Peer relations. This includes the topics of peer relations, development of peer relations, parent-child and peer relations, peer statuses, and bullying. Peer relations. There are positive and negative types of peer relations. Positive peer relations are associated with skill development. These types of relations and socialization enable children and adolescents to learn to be skilled and sensitive partners as adolescents, young adults, and into adulthood. And it allows children to explore principles like fairness and justice. On the opposite end of the spectrum, negative peer relations can have a huge impact socially. The child can be socially isolated. They can feel lonely, and that can cause them to react in a hostile manner and act out. It's linked with problems like delinquency, problem drinking later on in life, and depression. So the development of peer relations. Development of peer relations begins in infancy. Infants with a positive demeanor go on to be popular in peer groups in early childhood. They are included by peer groups and easily accepted in play. In the preschool years, this is when children start to prefer to spend time with same-sex playmates. They will often choose playmates based purely on gender, even if an opposite gender playmate is doing a preferred activity. During this time, there's both aggressive and friendly exchanges. As far as aggressive meaning, fighting over a toy, things like that, or friendly exchanges and sharing. Preschoolers are able to distinguish between friends and non-friends. Friends they see as the people that they play with. They do spend a lot of time communicating and conversing. This can be negotiating play rules, what roles they're going to play, or it can include arguing about, this is mine, no, that's mine, or agreeing, like, oh, I like your shoes, things like that. During the elementary years, children play games, they function in groups. This is when friendships are beginning to be cultivated, true friendships. Reciprocity is particularly important. Children in elementary school want to play with children that want to play with them. Parent-child and peer relations. Parents have both direct and indirect influences on the way that peers interact and as well as who children become friends with. This is influenced by the parent interactions, though that's how the child learns to interact with their peers. Also, the management of the child's life will have an impact on the opportunities provided to socialize. So if a child is not frequently brought to the park, obviously they will not have a chance to an opportunity to interact and grow friendships with children that frequently go to the park, for example. A secure attachment to parents is associated with positive peer relationships and socialization. Secure attachment enables the child to trust peers, and it enables them to form close relationships with peers and other adults. As far as peer statuses, there is a range from accepted children down to rejected children. Accepted children have the opportunity to socialize, so they develop good communication skills. They have friendships. They develop problem-solving abilities, and they are able to easily integrate into activities with other children. Rejected children are seen as being low in social status. Other children do not want to play with them. They don't want to share activities. They don't even want to talk to them. They typically have negative responses from their peers if they get any interaction at all. They're often excluded from activities, which gives them less opportunity to learn and practice their social skills at a time when they need to develop them the most. Bullying, this is verbal or physical. The intention is really to bother or disturb someone who is viewed as less powerful than yourself. 1 out of 3 students report being involved in bullying, either occasionally or frequently. The victims of bullying are typically those who are socially withdrawn, anxious, or aggressive. Bullies may find aggressive children annoying, and that's how that happens. Recently, there's been an increase in cyberbullying. So now children are not even able to leave bullying at school or at the park. It follows them everywhere because of the internet and our updates in technology. Play. Play is really important, especially in young children. It's where social competence is primarily developed. It plays an important role in cognitive, social, and emotional development. Children are able to develop language and communication skills with someone other than their parent. Social play, we see an increase in this during the preschool age. This is when children play with peers. Friendships. Friendships serve a variety of functions. Companionship, somebody to spend time with and do things with. Stimulation, provides interaction and amusement. Physical support, just having the assistance of someone else and the resources that they provide to you. Ego support, a person who has positive friendships can have positive influence on their self-esteem, how they feel about themselves, with the encouragement and feedback that a friendship provides. They also have social comparison. The kids are able to see where they stand with their peers, if what they're doing is typical or abnormal. They have something to compare it to. It also serves as another source of intimacy and affection. It's another warm, trusting relationship with someone outside of their family members. In adolescence, this is when it's really important to enforce independent skills and the ability to stand up for themselves and what they believe in, because conformity is huge in this stage of development. The teenagers want to do what their friends are doing, whether good or bad. This is where cliques and crowds developed, which are based around similar activities, a history of friendship, things like that. Cliques are often smaller and they become sort of an identity. And crowds are larger reputation-based groups like the band geeks, the jocks, those kind of groups. Dating and romantic relationships also begins in adolescence. It starts with attraction, typically between the ages of 11 and 13, and then relationships start to form between the ages of 14 to 16. This starts with casual dating and group dates. Then serious relationships start between the ages of 17 and 19. It's a little bit different in same-sex relationships. They're typically later because of the stigma still associated with homosexual relationships and the limited opportunities for partners. So they begin at 14 to 18 in girl relationships and 13 to 15 in boy relationships. What is the school's role in all of this socialization? Obviously, the school is there to show knowledge and skills, but it's also a way to teach children to mediate conflicts in an appropriate way. They're there to learn cooperation and social skills. School should make students feel welcome and accepted and promote self-discipline. This is the first time that a child may see that they're a member of the community and they don't just come to school to acquire knowledge. Socioeconomic status and ethnicity in school. These go hand in hand. Often the minority students are from low-income families. So the barriers to learning with low-income students is that the parents may be uneducated or unable to pay for materials and experiences like field trips that can further enhance their education. It's hard for them to focus on learning when they're hungry or malnourished. They may come from a neighborhood where gang and violence is high potential. They may have fewer resources in their schools. Schools still are often segregated, with 90% or greater of minority students in a minority school. They're often underfunded and have limited opportunities compared to traditional schools. Children with disabilities account for 13% of education. 13% of children receive special education services. This could be for things like learning disabilities, speech language impairments, intellectual disabilities, and emotional disturbances. Behavior disorders can range from mild, everyday behaviors that can be handled in the classroom, or serious persistent problems that impacts their education. Autism impacts socialization, communication, and behavior. The Individuals with Disability Education Improvement Act is a law that went into effect which gives children with disabilities rights. An IEP is a tailored individual program for educating students with disabilities, and least restrictive environment should always be used. That just means that a child should be in a classroom similar to a typical student's classroom. The ultimate goal would be inclusion, which is educating a special needs student in a regular classroom setting or as close to as possible. Those are the references. Thank you guys so much.